Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to topic 30. In this topic, we're going to be seeing how to actually enhance this entire sheet. Now guys, once you have completed placing all the different plans, elevations, sections everywhere, we can now start to enhance this sheet further. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag down a line from here and keep it around at this second point over here. And I can just bring this down from, I can just open up the marquee tool and I can just drag a basic space like this, which should be 2 centimeters, and I can create a layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually creating the formatting over here. Alright, so I'm going to actually select the color, and instead of directly selecting it from here, I'm going to select, let's say, this green color. So what that's going to do is it's actually going to give me a green color from the space which we have over here, and I can press Alt backspace to actually fill in this green color. And I hope you guys are seeing why I did that, because that is one of the most highlighting colors in the whole plan itself, or in the whole sheet itself. So we can actually use that color directly in our formatting. Now I can press Alt and actually drag this down all the way till here to copy it. And you can see how easy that was to actually go and place this over here. Now once you have actually gone ahead and done this much, guys, we can actually now go and put up different texts everywhere over here. Alright, so what I want to do basically is I'm going to actually press T and I'll create a new layer, and I can actually now type over here, let's say, bungalow design. I can press Ctrl A, change the whole color to white, and actually increase the font size over here to, let's say, 48, and we can get this bold, and I can actually bring this right up in the layers, and that would be something like this. Now we can even keep black color, but I've just selected it to be white because I think it'll be more clear if it's white color. Now once I'm done with that, I can actually now copy this bungalow design down from here over here, and I can press T again to actually go ahead and change this. So just using T and actually changing this whole thing to, let's say, Ace Design Institute over here, and click again. So we've actually set the text down over here. Now when we go ahead to actually giving out text everywhere else, I would like to create something which is basically like a area over here itself for our text to come off each and every single plan, elevation and section. And for that, I'm actually now going to use my marquee tool to simply just create, let's say, a band like this, something like this, and I can create a new layer and just fill in, let's say, this color itself. I can also use the brush tool and reduce the size of the brush. Actually select the black color now, create a new layer, and just kind of create a straight line like this. So it can be a little up, little down, that's not going to be much of a problem. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to now merge both these layers. So what we've basically done is we've kind of created a flag, an inverted flag over here, and you can see how that works. Obviously we can erase this portion off. You could even just put it below the layer and then merge it, that would also work. And I'll just have to fill this color over here. So we've got something like this. Now this is something that we can use as a flagger, which would basically be the names of each of these spaces. I can press Alt and actually copy this over here. And I would suggest that instead of copying it directly, what we can do is we can actually first just put down the text also. So I'll just press T and I can type over here as G-floor plan. I can select the whole thing, reduce the size to, let's say, just 12, and white color, I think 12 would be too small, so I can change the color to, let's say, 18, and we can have the first one as a caps. I think a little bit more could work, 24 would be fine, and we can have the ground floor plan over here. Now we're not done with this yet, we still want to do one more text, so I'll just press T again and I'll put out a text over here, which would be, let's say, scale, and let's take the scale as 1:100. You can select the whole thing, change it to black color, and reduce the size from here to, let's just say, 12. We can actually even select the regular font. This is basically called as hierarchy of write-ups. So that actually helps us a lot over here. You can actually place this inside, maybe somewhere like this. And I can actually place the ground floor plan a little bit up over here. Now, if we are finding a little bit problem with the spacing, I can even suggest that we kind of change this a little bit. And for that, guys, what we'll do is we'll actually place this over here itself. I'll just select this much of a portion and I will press Alt and copy it down. Just copy this down, something like that, and press Ctrl D. And now we can actually place the scale over here. So you see how we have actually developed this whole area itself on its own right now, which is basically for our scale as well as for the site plan. If you want to increase this, of course you can increase this size a little bit. You can increase this up to, let's say, 18, and I can go ahead and place it. So it's a big trial and error method, and I want to show you guys that that this is the way that you should be doing it. Now we can just select this space, Ctrl T, actually drag this. See, now again, because our sample or layers would have been switched on, we have to make sure that that's closed. Select the space, Ctrl T, and drag this much. And we'll have something like this. And this is actually looking very neat, giving us all the information that we need from the scale as well as the plan. It looks very clean as well. Now we can easily go ahead and select these three which we have created and copy it over here. And we can even kind of delete it off from here. So this is up to you completely how you're trying to make an understanding of your of the design basically. So you can see I've kind of copied that over here. Right, we can use the flags over here as well. So I'll just select all of these layers and kind of just copy them down. So we have the flags over here. Now of course we have to see that this elevation can be a little up. So this one might have been deleted off from the previous one on top, so I can just delete this whole thing off. Select all these three and copy this over here as well. This is something easy that we can do, and we can actually now select all these three again, and I can just move this. Don't forget to select the scale, move all of this in the side over here. So that's something we can do for this particular area. Now even for here, we can just go ahead simply and copy all of this from here to this flag over here, and I can just copy this down as well and give this something like this. So that's actually going to make a really good look to the entire thing. I like the flagging part. It actually gives much more detail to each and every portion. And of course now we can just go ahead and change all of these names by simply selecting the text time or just pressing T, shift that to F. I'll just scroll down. You can change this whole name up over here to, let's say, section. And I can go up over here. If you want, you can keep all caps. That's completely an individual's opinion. And that's elevation. And over here we have got the key plan, so I can just press T, select the whole thing, key plan. You can even go down over here and press T again, select this area and call it as the site plan. And that's about it, guys, how we'll be providing our using the text tool everywhere to actually provide nice looking flags everywhere, inverted flags. It's a very good way to actually kind of showcase your drawings. Now we're going to actually add a text box area over here, right? So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the marquee tool to just create a box like this and just create a new layer, fill white color by pressing Alt backspace or Control backspace, and I'll actually double click on this and I'll provide it now with something called as a stroke. And what the stroke is going to do is actually going to give it a boundary. You can see I can increase the size of that from here. I can even change it from the inside, or if I want it on the outside, wherever I want it. I can even reduce the opacity and increase the opacity of it. So I'll just keep it on the inside and I'll reduce it to this much size. We can even change the color right from here, but I'll let it be black itself. And I'll also give it an inner shadow, and what that's going to basically do is it's actually going to provide this nice little diffused look over here, like as if there has been a cutout in your sheet. And I can actually use this space now to actually use my text to actually write about the bungalow a little bit. So I'll just make a more general writing here, and I can keep it at 12 or even 14. And we can easily go ahead and write over here that this bungalow is designed by Ace Design Institute, and whatever names you want. But the reason I've actually written this down, and I can just put a full stop and add just a random text over here, but you will see that there is a big gap whenever I press enter. Now, how do you solve certain problems like this with the text? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select all this text, and you can see it's just 14 in size. So there is a button over here which is basically called as toggle the character and paragraph panels. So I can click on this, and you can see over here the paragraph comes out and the entire character settings come out. So over here we have the A above A, and it's at 81.3. I can put it to auto, so it will actually reduce the size. I can even change this a little bit more, better, let's say 9, but then it goes too much, so auto would be fine. I can actually now press backspace to go over here, but you'll still see that there is a massive spacing between both of these, and that shouldn't actually be there. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase the size over here to, let's say, 30 by selecting this whole thing, and now actually changing this back to auto. Let's say we keep it at 30. So I've got this kind of a spacing right now, and I can just bring all these over here. And you can see how this is actually written. Now I can select this whole thing from here, and I can even go ahead and open up the click on the toggle and character panel again, where we can actually get the characters over here, where we can go right, left, we can make it a paragraph, we can give it center. So I'm just going to keep it centered like this, and you can see how I can use this entire space to actually now write up whatever I feel like. So I can just copy this down, and this could be something about the bungalow itself. So this is basically where you're going to actually do the entire write-up area. And you can actually now copy, let's say, this elevation on the side over here a little bit. And we can reduce the opacity of this completely. And that would basically be because of our entire design, that this is actually in a row house system. Now what we are left with is basic environment settings. That means giving the sky as well as the ground in the section, also creating a ground cover for this perspective look, as well as adding some trees, and we'll be done with our sheet then. But we'll be seeing that in the next topic, guys. I hope you guys have understood this much. I hope you guys are able to use this much and create this kind of a format, and then I will see you guys in the next section. Take care. And I will see you guys in the next topic. Take care.